You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my wife and co-host. How's it going today, hon?
Hi, everyone. It's going great today.
Excellent. Are you all excited for today's installment of Exploring Anime with Friends?
I am. This is a good one.
Yes, it is. Honestly, it's one that we thoroughly enjoyed watching. And there's a new season of it coming on right now. So by the time you hear this, there will be at least one new episode of The Medalist out.
Yes.
Today we will explore the first season of The Medalist, a coming-of-age heartwarming tale in the figure skating scene, released in January of 2025. First, we will meet our two main characters, our number one skater, Inori, and her coach, Tsukasa, and see who they are at the beginning of this anime. After that, we will go on the journey that they have gone on together to get her caught up from her starting point to the rest of the children her age. Then we'll meet some of the fascinating and colorful characters, including both coaches and skaters, that they interact with as they get to their final destination at the end of the season. We then will observe the growth in the two of them throughout the first season. And if you like what you're hearing today, remember to check us out on social media. Like, subscribe, and follow that button right there.
Right
there. Somewhere down there. All right. Inori, Tsukasa. Man, which one do we start with? I guess we start with Inori, the girl who wants really bad to skate and is catching worms to trade them for skating entry. Tell us a little bit about Inori, or at least the Inori we meet in the first few episodes.
So Inori is, first things first, she's adorable.
Yes.
She's a cute kid.
Yes, she is.
And yes, she is at first going out and digging up earthworms to trade to the older gentleman who's manning the reception that leads into the ice skating rink. And he's the bleeding heart, that guy. He's just like, you can get worms that I can feed to the birds, and then, yeah, you can go ahead and skate. And that's what she does. Why? Because her mom does not want her skating. She has an older sister who was ice skating up until her middle school years, I believe.
Yes.
And got hurt on the ice. So her mom was pretty against her going, but Inori's got heart. She's got the heart of a warrior. She doesn't necessarily fight to get in, but she does everything she can to get in there, to get on the ice. And that's the biggest thing that stood out to me, was like, Inori's got the heart. In the beginning, she's a little timid. She's a little nervous. But a lot of what she's doing, she is teaching herself.
All of the timidness leaves when she's on the ice because she really has that drive, that unspoken, she works hard, and skating is her love. And one of the things that you said with her being a warrior, it's a very true statement in the aspect of her having heart and working hard, but she's not a full-blown warrior yet because she kind of hates who she is.
Yeah.
She has extreme self-confidence issues. She's not good in school. She's not the greatest with making friends. She's the antisocial kid at recess, not the ones that kids pick on, but the ones their kids are like, push away.
Just ignore completely.
Yeah, and it's not extreme social awkwardness. It's just she's digging up worms to give to a guy so she can skate. One of the things that really stuck out to me early on was there was a group project going on for class. The other students just told her, nah, we got you. We'll carry your weight. And, you know, you could just stand up there and take credit. And it's kind of like, wow, and all of that has gotten to her to where the self-worth just isn't there outside of when she has a pair of skates on her feet. And her life gets even more complicated early on because in the first episode, Tsukasa catches her.
Yep.
He catches her, sneaking the skates back in, and he tracks her down and he lets her know, that's not really right. And she's like, it's the only way that I can skate. And he's like, well, you're right at the cutoff. You're basically at the oldest age that you can be to still potentially get help. So prioritize this. This tells you everything you need to know about Tsukasa. He is knowledgeable.
Yep.
And he cares so deeply.
So much.
He writes out a bunch of places that she can apply to, and he hands it to her. And he's like, talk to your mom immediately. Before we go too much on him, how did that go with Inori and her mom?
So Inori eventually works up the confidence to talk to her mom, because that's not easy for a kid to do. Try to approach their parent about something that they've already said no to. And Inori's mom's like, okay, We'll go look at places, but the whole goal and the whole intent is that she's hoping that the coaches that she's going to is just going to shoot Inori down.
Yeah.
Because she's too old. She's past the age. Most of these people start, and she even when it takes them to one of the rinks, she points out a kid on the rink, and she's like, that kid is 5, and she's already so much farther. Do you know how much you're going to have to work just to catch up to that level?
And Inori's 10 years old at this point.
Yeah, she's young, but for starting a sport, perhaps a little on the older side. But I feel like that was just, honestly, I'm going to get on a soapbox for a second. That's terrible. You shouldn't build your kids' hopes up that you're going to go someplace just to verbalize out loud that I'm really just hoping you shoot her down because she's too old and she just moves on from this. Absolutely terrible.
But the catch is, on that day that her mother's taken her around to places, Hitome, an old friend of Tsukasa who did competitive ice dancing with him, reaches out to him. She wants him to be her assistant coach. And the two that Inori and her mom come to are Hitome and Tsukasa.
It was a cute meeting when they saw each other.
And let's just jump back for a little of Tsukasa before we go into that meeting.
Tsukasa was, how old was he when he saw his figure skater?
14 years old.
I thought it was 15. That's why I asked. He was 14 years old when he was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. And he got no coaches. No one, because he was, like I said, those kids start when they're literally little children. He was a teenager. No one wanted to train. No one wants to start with a movie at that age. You get someone who's been around a little bit. So he obviously sees a little bit of Inori in him, and he wants to train her. And the sparkle in his eyes, let me say, the sparkle in all of their eyes is phenomenal. I love how they did the artwork for the eyes in this series. The artwork as a whole was fantastic.
Exceptional artwork.
But the look in his eyes when he was like, I'll take you on. I'll be your coach. He doesn't even have the coach job yet, though. But he was just the confidence and just, I just fell in love with him. I just fell in love with his character at that point.
And he gets Inori on the ice and he's asking her to show the different ways that she can skate and everything. And Inori's already got down all the skating
decent.
patterns, all of the beginner level stuff, the stuff that she would have to take a course for. She's already got her down. And the other thing that really explains Tsukasa, it's his frankness, it's bluntness. And he's like, well, let's just get her in already.
Just get her on the ice. What are you doing, lady? Get your kid on the ice.
And that's after a big heartfelt speech because the mom already said no. And Inori, after the mom says no and everything, after she shows how good she is on the ice, how impressed she is, Inori just melts down and she's like, I don't like myself. I don't like who I am outside of skating. And she just really, she gets that vulnerable moment where she just breaks down in front of it. And as a parent, it just,
that just sucked. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
never something you want to hear your kids say.
Teared up. And it's kind of tearing up a little right now. And after Inori goes through the whole thing and her mom sees the depth of her commitment to this, he's like, let's just get her in already. He doesn't use tact. He doesn't sugarcoat
at all.
If he has something to say, he says it. He's invasive.
Yes. Oh my gosh, he is.
He does not do well with boundaries when it comes to building someone up.
It's golden retriever invasiveness.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like positive
it's not a
invasiveness.
His invasiveness isn't toxic, but it is still invasive.
Yes.
And that's where they are at the beginning. And he feels like he's failed in his career. So he might as well give this girl a shot at hers. Because one of the things that we see from him throughout is that he is continually doing everything right, but continually second guessing.
Oh, man.
And doubting himself.
Yeah.
But he does one thing. He does one thing that sticks with her and that is super right at the beginning. And that is literally say, I'm not going to try to control you. And yeah, I guess it's not the only thing he does right, but he's like,
he does a lot of things right.
Plenty of people are going to talk, get you to say that you're too old, say that you're started too late, say that you should be trying to do it this way instead of that way. People who are going to question why you did certain things a certain way. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Get the voices out of your head and follow your heart.
Yep.
And that is a message that he preaches to her throughout the series. And as they're going on this journey, they're starting off green, but man, she hits the acceleration right at the beginning, challenging him. I want to take the prelim test as soon as I can. Talk to us about the quick journey to a prelim.
So in the beginning of the prelims, Tsukasa's doing his best to show her new things, to get her to do certain things the way that's supposed to be done, you know. And for some of those instances, and I don't remember all the technical terms, I am not an ice skater. I don't remember all the technical terms, but it's not, she sees it, she understands it, but she doesn't quite get it right away. And eventually down the line, she'll have that moment where, like, this is what Coach Tsukasa meant. This is what he meant. This is the thing.
There's a lot of clicks at different points in time where
I thought that was kind of real, though, the way that was, because there's been plenty of times where I'm like, something news getting interesting, like, oh man, I have no clue. Like, what did that person say? How did they say it? Okay, I think I got it. And I try it. I'm like, oh, not really getting it. But then I eventually, after enough practice, repetition, I'm like, oh man, I get it now. I liked how they did that.
she goes through the stages of wanting to learn something new to feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And then after that to trying it, failing, but then getting it right and realizing or being shown a new angle, like watching herself on the tablet and he's explaining the back should be a little more up or the arm should be a little more out. And when it's explained to her, man, you see how quick of a learner Inori is.
Oh, absolutely.
She has a little bit of struggle with the prelim because she does get a fall at one point in time before the whole thing is started, but then she nails the prelim test. And she's like, you know what? Since I actually passed the prelim test, I want to go into competition at the prelim level. And this is where you start to see the other characters come into the whole thing. And I know we said that we were going to separate them before, but let's actually like kind of merge it together and do a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
And so we'll cover up to stage 1 and then we'll hit the time skip afterwards.
Okay.
So going into the prelim competition, she runs into a very colorful character by the name of
Smitten.
Talk to us about Mittens a little.
Mittens is very brash. Think that's the best adjective I can come up with real quick.
Bratty's not a better one?
Oh my gosh. I want you to watch this anime, so don't take this the wrong way, guys. I don't like Mittens. Mittens irritated me. She's always got something to say. She's feisty as heck, but not in a great way. But
doesn't apologize for anything.
Doesn't apologize. No, that actually really irritated me. I've known people like that. It's not their fault. As a whole, though, you kind of need that counterbalance. Inori's very sweet girl. Mittens is the opposite. And it was cool seeing them interact. And Mittens realizes she wants Inori as a friend. And Mittens starts like dragging her up and like basically like, you're gonna learn this yourself. And Inori's like, no, I need someone. Like, I need someone to show me how to do it. We don't learn the same way. And that also I felt was something really cool they highlighted. Some people don't learn the same way. Mittens does things on her own. She grabs it by the horns and she just goes for it. But Inori felt like she needed that extra person with her, that coach.
I think the thing that really stuck about this whole journey with me is the fact that they made these kids all real and that they made them all different.
Yes.
It was different sets of problems for each and every single one of them to overcome. And yes, was Inori's journey rapid? And was it a tad unbelievable from how quickly she advanced? Yes, but everything else about it was just so real. Real kids, real emotions, real reactions from parents, real reactions from coaches. And it just, you saw that journey. And she gets into head-to-head competition with Mittens.
Oh, yeah.
And she slips and she falls in the opening moment of her set. And Mittens misses her first jump in the opening moment of her set. But the roads after were completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Because Inori knew she had Coach Tsukasa on her side. She got back up. She performed her recovery jumps and she just went through everything beautifully. Mittens allowed the fact that she missed her jump. She didn't even fall. She just missed her jump to get into her head and never did a recovery move along the way. And ultimately, that's the difference between win and loss there. And Inori takes her first podium, her first place. And now she has the confidence that she needs to go on and challenge the first level badge. Because in order to compete in certain competitions, you have to have certain badges. In order to get certain badges, you have to be able to advance in certain types of moves and everything. So you're watching the whole thing and she's got to work a double into the next competition. And Inori does have some struggles with that. She has the struggles with anxiety. But one of the things Tsukasa does during the course of that whole preliminary stage is that he does some motion sensor things with his fingers, and he allows her to hold on to the strings of his hoodie and everything. It's just
Such a good
real
coach.
moments like that were beautiful. You saw how well he worked with children. Talk to us about her level 1 competition, or at least just talk to us about Emma, and I'll tie it into the level 1 competition.
Emma's rough. You know people like Emma. You know people like most of these kids. Emma is growing rapidly. So while she's training and while she's doing all this, she's got a lot of growing pains that are like preventing her from excelling further because her body is hurting. Like, but it's to the point where she thinks if she doesn't grow, she won't have the growing pains. And if she doesn't have the growing pains, she could practice harder. So there was one point where her coach is trying to get her to eat something, and she's like, "No, I'm not going to eat." And when that happened, like something inside me just broke. Like we were watching it with Autumn, and Autumn's like, "Doesn't she know that like you have to eat?" And like sometimes when you're in this scenario and you're in this situation, you feel like you have to do this kind of thing to maintain. But obviously, like not eating, like for a kid to say that. And I have heard stories, and I have actually known like a kid in my life that similar where they didn't want to gain more weight. So it's similar that like they didn't want to gain more weight, didn't want to grow. And I don't know, Emma was a rough watch for a minute there when that whole scene happened.
And that's all being covered in a flashback too,
Yeah.
because now Emma's past that point.
There's
Emma's
the good
to
news.
a point where she is now caught up, her body and her skating and everything has caught back up together, and she's really ready to shine in a level 1 field that has a lot of great ones. Level 1 has a lot of great skaters. You have one who is like Sierra, who came over from speed skating, and she did comes from the family pedigree, and a lot of other great ones in this category that you'll be seeing later on in season 2. Girls that are going to be advancing fast with Inori along the way. And you get to see how Inori responds to all of them. And you also get to see how Inori responds to the conflict of forgetting her skates at the train station.
Oh man, I was so nervous.
Like one of the things they did a great job. I'm not going to go too much in that sub arc, but they did a great job at filling real life in throughout the whole thing. The amount of realism that there was in this, and the amount of just random struggles that we're going to get resolved quickly, but just showing the quick glance of it, half an episode focusing on, is Inori even going to be able to take the ice?
Yeah.
But when she does, she puts on a brilliant performance, one that claims first place at that point in time, with really the only competition left coming afterwards being Emma.
Yeah.
And she shows it ever so clearly. All the other girls are fascinated and everything. And as she's skating off the ice, she falls. And at that point in time, you realize she sprained her ankle and she's having problems with shin splints. And it's one of those things where Tsukasa realizes he's allowed her to go too crazy. He's allowed her to go off the rail. As it's wrapping up everything and she has her silver medal because Emma puts on a beautiful performance. He lets her know that, you know what, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to be focusing a little more on your health. And Inori realized it's like, yeah, and I realized that there's other kids that this is their dream too. So in that moment, there is such great growth that you see. And it's just one of those things where special things are going to happen. And then we get a time skip.
Time skip.
So if you like what you're hearing so far, remember to check this out for yourself on Disney Plus. If you like what you're hearing from us, like, subscribe, and follow. We time skip. Inori has her level 5 badge.
Yeah.
And her chase to Hikaru is really believable at this point. Tell us about Hikaru and June.
So Hikaru is the goal.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
Olympic medalist is the real goal.
Yes, of course. Hikaru is her personal goal. She wants to be Hikaru's rival. For good reason. Hikaru's fantastic on the ice. Everything she does is perfect, pretty much. Kind of helps that she's actually a nice person, too.
Incredibly sweet.
She was amazing.
She has every right to be arrogant.
She does. And she doesn't shove in people's faces.
She has every right to be the villain of the story. Yet she doesn't feel like a villain at all.
No, not at all.
She's just the goal.
She's just the goal.
She's the friendly antagonist.
Friendly rival. And with first when they meet each other, it was really sweet, to be honest. Like, they both just kind of fight each other in the dirt for a minute there, and Inori looks at her and is like, "Your hair makes you look like a princess," or something like that. And it was just an immediate friendship. And then Rio had to come over and like ruin it for a minute there. But this isn't about him. This isn't about him.
Well, part of this is going to be about
part of it will be about him. Yeah. But Inori decided that this is the person who I want to compete at that level. I want to get to where that person is, and I want to be their competitor. So, kind of funny enough, Inori is trained by Jun Yodaka. And that is Tsukasa's inspiration. That's the person that Tsukasa saw on the TV screen all those years ago when he was 14, and that is the person that he wanted to become. Jun Yodaka is kind of a jerk, though. Yeah, you get the feeling that he's doing things for Hikaru, but he will just lay you flat with his words. I don't know how else to describe him besides that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear. At one point in time, there's a scene where it has him, Tsukasa, and Inori, and Inori says that I want to compete against Hikaru, and he's like, you're basically saying you want to beat her, and he's like, that's impossible. And Tsukasa jumps on him because it's like, you're an Olympian gold medalist. You have no right to say that. It's like your words carry so much weight.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let me tell you, as Hikaru's coach, Inori saying that she can beat Hikaru is the equivalent of you saying you can beat me. And the stare, the icy stare, and that moment of realization with Tsukasa and all of the past doubts and regrets creeping back in, he just pushes them to the side for the moment. And he's like, she will win.
The amount of confidence Tsukasa has for Inori is fantastic, and I love it.
Compared to the little amount he has in himself.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
And we're getting to the point where she has to now get to the ultimate of jumps, the axel. She has to perform a double axel in order to get the 6th badge. And this is where a lot of them hang up, and he realizes she's struggling with it. She also has to get a triple jump in there at some point in time. But then one night in the parking lot, she shows that she can do it. And he's like, I thought she didn't have the muscle mass for it. It's literally just technique.
Just doing it on the ice is the hard part.
So he holds a mini camp, and this is where a character by the name of Rio becomes really important. They hold a mini camp to grind these kids ready for their 6th badge because the All Japans are coming up. And Rio's in the same spot. He's going for his 6th badge too. But he needs to land a triple-double combo. And I'm just going to tangent on Rio for a moment. His father was an Olympian also, the one who always finished second to Jun Yodaka. He comes from money. He comes from parents that care about him. They don't just force everything upon him, but they care about him too. He comes from every advantage he could possibly have. And he just feels like he's hit a wall. And he's like, well, if I literally have every advantage you can have, then I must just be worthless. And he explains that to Tsukasa because at this point in time, his father has asked Tsukasa to be Rio's coach. And you see them going back and forth because Rio is kind of like, you're a nobody. You're prelim. You never got this far. How are you helping Inori? Inori deserves better than you. And he's saying it to him. And Tsukasa knows that part of it's true, but at the same time, he's like, I'm still going to help you achieve that triple-double. I'm still going to help Inori achieve that triple-double. And Rio wonders where the conviction comes from. And the next day, he sees him skating on the ice. Rio sees Tsukasa skating his routine and realizes this guy could have been anything. I misjudged him. You have something to add?
I want to tangent for a second. Tsukasa is doing Rio's routine. And when Rio had done it the previous day, he fell during the double or the triple or the axle.
The triple.
The triple. And with no practice whatsoever. And this is how good Tsukasa is. I'm going on a Tsukasa bragging tangent. With no practice, he starts playing the song, and Tsukasa successfully does all the moves, makes him look good. And even the part where Rio fell and had to take the time to get back up, in Tsukasa's mind, he's like, if I know Rio's dad well enough, this would be the next move. Successfully does the move that no one would have seen yet and finishes it. That's how good Tsukasa actually is.
And all the ladies are swooning.
Oh, they're all swooning. Yeah, I know. It's like a muscle shirt and everything. Like, that's how good this guy actually is. He never made it out of prelims because no one wanted to coach him.
Yeah.
But he is a fantastic skater.
And that's the point where Tsukasa starts to realize, maybe I've been too hard on myself. And his friend Hitome, who he did really well with in competitive ice dancing, she's like, he could have done everything. It's just his own self-confidence held him back. And at that point in time, you know that Tsukasa, something has changed. And he has changed something in Rio. And he has changed something in Inori. And they have changed something in Mittens. And you see a series of triple doubles throughout the whole thing. You see Rio, Mittens, and Inori all complete the triple doubles in that order during that camp. And you know, at this point in the time, the sky is the limit for all three of those skaters. And Tsukasa realizes, I'm the one who helped them get there.
Yep.
You see the value and the self-worth slowly being restored. And when Inori's having a conversation with him sometime in the later episodes of the season, she's like, I've gone from the girl who couldn't do anything to now the girl who's good at sports. I'm in the top 5, like with stamina exercises and everything. She's like, Coach, this is me. This is like, this was the dream. And as she's doing that 6th test, it's not a moment of what's going to happen or is she going to mess up. It's a moment of celebration. And
it's fantastic.
I realize I'm giving hard spoilers this season.
Didn't think we'd do that, but that's okay.
I can't because as she is saying goodbye to the old Inori, that whole end song, she is saying goodbye to the old Inori, thanking her for getting her to where she is today. It just finish it off.
It was touching. It was touching. Like, just every time she said goodbye to like her old self, like a little piece of that hit me. And I was like, dang, this girl is making it. She's doing it. She did thank her old self, which some people can't really do that as easily. But she realizes the change in her, the growth in her. And yeah, man, that whole last sequence with her getting that badge.
We spoiled the whole season for you. We already told you
spoilers.
that by the time you're hearing this episode, you can already start watching the second season. But
that whole final scene was just, it was so moving, so well done.
And you not only get to see it with, like, hers was brilliant and beautiful, but you also get to see Rio's 6 badge test too. And the whole episode just, be ready to, if you have feelings at all.
Or children.
If you have children and feelings at all, then be prepared to cry. It's just a pure celebration of overcoming.
It was beautiful.
Pure celebration of victory. And you know that not only do you see that in Inori and Rio, you also see it in Coach Tsukasa. And man, I am so ready for season 2.
Right.
So ready.
Right now. Let's do it.
Yeah. Anything you want to say about it as a whole?
I mean, it was beautiful. Like, every part of it was beautiful. The eye detail with these characters. Inori's eyes kind of reminded me of like lava in that like slow burn kind of way. And I felt like that was kind of symbolic of her, whereas Mitten's eyes reminded me of fire, instant, aggressive there. And each character's eyes were so different. And I absolutely loved the detail work in the entire thing with the eyes, with the way everything looked as a whole. It was beautiful to watch. It was a beautiful story. It was fantastic.
Amazing animation, amazing artwork, really good soundtrack, amazing story, amazing characters. I really appreciated it. I really enjoyed it. It was my favorite new anime of 2025. And as I've rewatched it since recording that episode, I've realized I like it even more than I did the first time I watched it.
That's very fair.
Once again, we introduced you to Inori and Tsukasa, saw who they were at the beginning, and the journey that they went on together as skater and coach. We met some of the many colorful characters along the way, including Mittens, and finally, we showed you how they interacted with Rio and how they all took their final steps together to becoming the people that are now confident and moving forward to the All Japans. We hope you enjoy the first season of The Medalist as much as we have, and you consider watching this anime. Bye.
Bye.
So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts. And hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. And today's show was brought to you by Dubby Energy, a modern approach to energy drinks with no sugar, dyes, or fillers added. Dubby Energy, be better. And use code ExploringAnime524 for 10% off your order. That's ExploringAnime524, one word, all capital letters, for 10% off your latest Dubby Energy order. Link listed in the show notes.